saucy and we undead Zergan.
Even in death, you cannot defeat me.
I'm worming, I'm working, let's hurt him. Undead Zergan.
The essence of death, you are life-loving.
And if you think you're scaring skeletons, you got another thing coming.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the graveyard. Today I have another epic PvP build for you. This is the Elder Scrolls Online, and today I am showcasing the Lich Druid. This build is utilizing nature and the undead and basically just combining both to create the Wrath of Nature. It's a bit of a role-playing build. It's definitely not meta by any means, but it is definitely something that is very strong, very fun to play, easy to pick up, and I'm going to show it to you guys today. Sit back, relax, and let's begin. Alright, so jumping right into the character sheet here. This is on buff stats. We are pretty decent across the board. You know, this is before even our major sorcery, brutality, buffs here, and then of course our penetration will go up and the magicka and stamina recovery will go up as well. Back bar before our major, just major resolve on this build, no minor resolve. Sitting at a decent crit resistance, not too bad. And then of course that could always go up if somebody's running Rallying Cry in your group. And then if we look at our buffed up stats here, we are just over 6,300 weapon and spell damage. Spell penetration will go up respectively with our major and minor breach. And then of course our maximum stats sit about the same, with our recoveries looking very good across the board. Jumping into the class skills here, so our base class is going to be Necromancer as always, because I am avid Necro. And then of course we are going to subclass out the Bone Tyrant and the healing class line from Necromancer for animal companions and restoring lights. These are excellent subclass choices for this particular build. We are the Lich Druid. We are combining nature and death to make this epic Wrath of Nature. Now, I know there are some other content creators out there that have similar setups. It's kind of ironic, as I was piecing this together and I was showcasing some of the BGs, just displaying how the build operates. And of course the algorithm pulls all kinds of content creators that are running similar setups. So I'm not even going to begin to say that I'm taking the credit for this, but you know, out of the 3,000 combinations that Zos implemented for subclassing, what are the chances, you know, that someone like myself and a couple others are running almost the exact same thing? Slight different tweaks, but I won't get into the nitty-gritties here. I'm just going to show you what I'm running, what I think is very useful, and then of course if you enjoy role-playing, this build is probably going to be perfect for you as well. So right out the bat, Gravy Lord, Restoring Lights, Animal Companions. We're going to start with the front bar here, Falcon Swiftness. Now of course not all of my stuff is leveled up, So you're going to have to pick and choose which passives for the different morphs work better for you. This is what I'm currently rocking, and it's, you know, it does the job, and then of course it's only going to get better when you morph these skills. But Falcon Swiftness, this is going to be our major expedition buff. It's going to give us a snare removal and immobilization for 4 seconds. Shocking Contingency, kind of a flex spot, but I like having this here just for the simple fact that it does create a bit of a burst element for the combo that we do. Reduces damage by 8% for 6 seconds, which is pretty tanky. It's almost like a major protection buff. And then of course this is how we're going to get our major savagery and prophecy. Deep Fissure, this is how we're going to line up our burst, and then it's also going to give us the major and minor breach. This is going to be very hard hitting when the blast bones come together, especially if you can synchronize it with a D-swing and everything just goes at once. It's just going to be almost inevitable for whoever you're hitting. And then of course Dizzying Swing, 10k tooltip right off the bat. It's going to cause the enemy to be off balance when you hit them, and then of course CC them when you hit them again. If they cannot be off balance, then the 40% snare will apply to them. Super strong, pretty cheap too. It's only about 2,000 stamina. Blighted Blast Bones, this is the dead part. So of course major reminder to file. My favorite skill in the game, you know it. Look at that cost, 569 stamina. It's basically free at this point. And then of course when you cast it again, reusable parts, it's going to cost half of that. Guardian's Wrath. So I was going back and forth between a couple of different ultimates here, and I decided that Guardian's Wrath is pretty much the winner for what I was trying to achieve with this build. And with that being said, if you notice, we don't have an execute on. And it's not necessarily a make it or break it for the build. Some people cannot play without an execute, and that's okay. But I'm here to show you why we picked Guardian's Wrath, and that is simply because it basically is a built-in execute. It's a permanent pet that pretty much stays with you until it dies, and then of course because of this morph, it's going to respawn once it's killed, once per minute, which is super nice. You kind of just set it there and forget about it. But if you see the tooltip here, when we have the bear summoned, we can activate it for super cheap, which is only 75 ultimate, and the Grizzly's going to maul the enemy for 13,000 magic damage. And then of course when they're under 25% health, it's going to hit 150% harder. Basically, it's an execute. So what you want to do is when you're lining your combo up, you want to hit your ultimate first. That way the Grizzly is going to go charging right at the enemy that you're targeting. And then I can show you the combo on a test dummy here, what you're going to do. But basically, once you chunk the enemy's health, that Grizzly is just going to just go to town. I mean, good game, good night. You're going to see how everything lines up, and it's going to be super fun. Of course, you have the same ultimate on the back bar, or else the Grizzly is going to desummon itself. Blue Betty, this is how we're going to get our major brutality, major sorcery buff. Every 5 seconds, the Natch is going to remove an effect. If no effects are removed, you do increased damage. Super, super strong. Rune Focus, this is how we're going to get our major resolve. Standing in the rune is going to heal us a little bit, and then of course, if you're able to stay in the middle, you're going to get double the healing. Ritual Retribution, this is a awesome group utility skill here, and then of course it's going to remove 2 harmful effects from you too, with some good side healing. But the difference here is we're using the damaging part of it. So if you look at the radius here, it's pretty significant. The other morph will heal you, but this one will heal your allies and then damage the enemy that's in it. So very, very large radius here. We have plenty of space to move around, and the enemies are going to take increased damage the longer that they stay in this. So nice to have for a group skill, but if you don't want this here, of course you could obviously switch this out for Resolving Vigor. Whatever you want. I like having this just for the simple fact that I generally play with at least a friend or two, and then I'm in and out of battlegrounds, so I leave it on the bar, but Vigor is also a good choice. Repentance. This is great right here. So there's a couple of things about this skill that I want to talk about. 1, it's free. 2, we're utilizing corpses, so it's still respecting the role of a Necromancer. but obviously not dead in pain. We're not going to get ultimate, but just having it slotted, you can see that we have minor endurance, minor fortitude, and minor intellect, just boosting our recoveries by 15% on either bar. And then when we activate this from corpses, we're going to get a juicy heal and restoring stamina. So we can dodge roll for days, we can D-swing for days, we can do all kinds of things with our stamina. Blocking even costs magic, so we're going to be good in that area too because we're running an ice staff on the back bar. But if you happen to run out of stamina, you hit this once or twice around a couple of corpses and you're going to be right back up. So I like that it's free. It's a great skill. It really fits the build and the theme of what we're trying to achieve here. So that's why it's there. Honor of the Dead. Another good role-playing skill here. So Honor of the Dead, of course, I like the name, but it's going to be a fat heal, and then, of course, anyone who's below 75% health restores 18% of the ability's cost every 2 seconds as Magicka over 6 seconds. Nice sustained return there. And then, of course, if you don't want to use this, you could use the scribing skill Healing Soul, but there's a couple of things to look at here. So on my Healing Soul, I have Major Vitality, which is going to increase your healing received by 12%, which is good, you know, definitely a solid to have. However, Honor of the Dead, and then of course with the Restoring Light passives, if we go back into the tree here, will actually out-heal that, just because the simple fact that Mending, increasing your healing done by up to 13% in proportion to the severity of the target's wounds. So yeah, of course, the less health you have, the more healing you're going to do, but you're already having the cleansing ritual, the rune focus, the rite of passage. All of these are going to give you minor mending. So increasing your healing done by 8% is going to stack with that, and then basically it's out healing the Major Vitality. You could keep Major Vitality on there just because it's simply there at all times instead of just the less health that you have. But I simply just like having more of the Restoring Light passives. That way you're benefiting from Master Ritualist, and then of course Honor of the Dead is going to heal allies in front of you as well. So it's an all-around a better skill in my opinion, but if you want to use Healing Soul, you by all means go ahead. It's not going to make or break it. Alright, so we went over some of the passives here. I forgot to mention that we are Breton on this build. 32 points into health, 32 points into magic. We're trying to kit just right at that 30,000 health mark, and then max magic is, we use quite a bit of it, so we're just going to keep the magicka higher than the stamina. However, it's not a big issue because stamina is still at 20,000, and then our recoveries are virtually the same. Lover Mundus, and then we are using the Witch Sugar Skulls. Moment of truth, looking at the gear. Check it out, guys. We got the Master's Maul. We got the Ice Staff of Wretched Vitality. We got Nonotuck. We have a Trainee Piece. We have Baron Zodarus. Nobility and Decay. Bracers of Wretched Vitality. Nobility and Decay Guards. Boots of Wretched Vitality. Torque of the Last Ayleid King. Yes, indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, when I tell you that subclassing benefits from this mythic alone, it is a huge, huge advantage. Let's look at it. Torque of the Last Ayleid King. One item reduces your damage taken by 15%. Adds 1,337 weapon and spell damage, and adds 500 magic and stamina recovery. This right here is basically 3 5-piece sets in one mythic. By having this on, you're disabling all of your other item set bonuses, and then you just basically gain what's read in this tooltip here. Come on. Look at that. With the Blue Betty on here, we're at 6,300 weapon and spell damage. Absolutely disgusting. If you look at our tooltips here, Blighted Blast Bones, 16.7k. Our D-Swings are hitting for 12.8k. Deep Fissure is going to be hitting for 16.7k. Guardian's Wrath, 15,000 damage plus 150% more if they're under 25% health. This build is absolutely disgusting. And simply just by running Torque of the Last Alien King, we can achieve all of these. And I know some people are like, no, character sheets don't mean anything. I can hear you right now, Thorax. But it is absolutely nasty. This thing hits like a truck. It does not matter what gear you have on, but it just simply having the 5-1-1 rule, which is what I'm following, 5 medium, 1 heavy, 1 light. And then the traits I'm rocking are basically all tri-stat, all in pen, so that way we're just sitting over 2,000 in pen. And then infused with the weapon and spell damage and chance on the jewelry. So the sets that you're running don't matter, but the weights of your armor and your traits, and then of course your enchantments, those all count. So Master's Maul for the penetration, and then of course you get the damage higher from a 2H weapon than you do from a staff. Back bar, we're running an ice staff just simply because you benefit from the passives of increased blocking and increased damage mitigation, and then of course it's defending. And then 1 light, 1 heavy, 4 mediums, or I'm sorry, 5 mediums, and then your jewelry are infused. So that is the build. It is definitely super strong. Let me go to a test dummy here real quick. Blast Bones into a Shulks, and then D-swing, D-swing. And then, of course, they'll get stunned into that. Blast Bone, Shulks, D-swing, D-swing. Blast Bone, Shulks, D-swing, D-swing. Hit our Blue Betty here. Blast Bones, Ultimate, Shulks, D-swing. Blast Bones, D-swing. Let the Shulks go off. Blast Bones, D-swing. Let the Shulks go off. There you go. 33,000 in 9 seconds. That's honestly like super good for the test dummy. Jumping into the champion points here real quick. Exploiter, Force of Nature, Master at Arms, Untamed Aggression. If you wanted to, you can drop Exploiter for Fighting Finesse or Weapons Expert, or I'm sorry, not Weapons Expert. Biting Aura, just because it'll buff the bear, and then of course your Shulks and your Blast Bones. Or if you think you need a little more tankiness, you can equip Ironclad or Bulwark. I have it on Exploiter just for the fact that when I run with Oreo or Area of Effects, they're always off balancing the enemy. So I'm going to be hitting them 10% harder. Running into the red tree here, we have Celerity, Survival Instincts, Fortified, Boundless Vitality. And then in the green tree, it doesn't really matter, but I always like to give this tip simply for the fact that people are trying to subclass and level all of their stuff up. Don't forget to hit that Discipline Artisan here. Increasing experience gained from current active skills and their skill lines by 3% per stage, giving yourself an extra 15% bonus just by having it slotted. It's a free passive. Don't forget to hit this while you're subclassing and adventuring. That way you can level your stuff up quicker. Remember, you heard it from your boy Avid. Alright guys, that is the build. This is the Lich Druid. I'm going to be running this quite a bit because it's simply just that fun to play. I know that Alien King's a bit hard to get in Infinite Archive, but you know, if you can just spend an afternoon or an evening just grinding it out, it's really not that hard to get everything in one day. My buddy Thorax helped me do it, and it's definitely worth it. I highly suggest running your Alien King on this build. It suits subclassing very well because you're able to basically take everything you're missing from sets and put it into your skills and in your skill lines. Your passives will help you, they're going to carry you quite well, and then your raw, reliable damage and your resource sustain is going to come from that alien of the Torque of the Last Alien King. So everything suits the role-playing aspect of the build nicely. I really like how everything lines up with the combo. Super strong. You're going to see it here in a couple of BG clips. Let me know what you think. What did you like about this build? What didn't you like about it? I've got a couple more up my sleeve here. We're going to do another PvP build, and then I have a PvE build that I'm going to release for subclassing. Stay tuned for the Undead Army. That's going to be a purebred build, and then I'm going to basically do a guide for a Necromancer and how to subclass or keep it as a purebred, depending on what your playstyle is. Alright guys, with that being said, peace out, stay frosty, and I will see you in the graveyard.
I'm taking over Nern and turning over graves. Undead Zergan.
Miserable fools, you are nothing.
I have plenty plenty in my posse, stomping saucy, and we undead Zergan.
Even in death, you cannot defeat me.
I'm worming, I'm working, let's hurt him. Undead Zergan.
Essence of death, you are life-loving.
And if you think you're scaring skeletons, you got another thing coming. The king of worms, king of words, soon to be the king of nerd, no need for intervention. No, I can handle them, I like what Cinemax did. Made a class about me and they killed it instead. I kinda wanna do what Horcrux did, just not be a POS and get busted. I will be thrusted into the main picture, my needs more common than the essence of health mixture.
Try to stop me.
I'm taking over nerd and turning over graves. Undead Zergan.
Miserable fools, you are nothing.
I have plenty in my posse, stomping saucy, and we undead Zergan.
Even in death, you cannot defeat me.
I'm worming, I'm working, let's hurt him. Undead Zergan.
Essence of death, you are life-loving.
And if you think you're scaring skeletons, you got another thing coming. Hey, I've been flowing, so I'm glowing, pile of bones in my lap, got no time for hosing, soon time is frozen. Citric wanna stop me, but I'm too freaky to let that happen. They know I'm slapping, bone daddy clapping. All the haters think I'm capping when I say I'm gonna get the last laugh in. Casting so magic sideways, so you know that I'm swagging.
I rise, your world quivers and dies. Betrayer of the five, Lich God unalive. You can't stand to fight me, wait out your life to spite me. You might see through the titans and shades, eyes in the sky in my valley of blades. A reflection of the king as your eyes fade to black. Desecration from the grave, then I bring you back. King of worms on the hunt and I'm about to eat. This beast on the ground bleeding out of my feet. One climb from the ashes like a phoenix to fly. Take the life, get the flesh, make you mine when you die. Afterlife, at the death become a god in no realm. Necro moon revenant, many Marco is him. How I torture a race, leave your mind in a haze. Bring the light to the dark with the bodies I blaze.
By all means, try to stop me.
I'm taking over nerd and turning over graves. Undead Zergan.
Miserable fools, you are nothing.
I have plenty in my posse, stomping saucy, and we undead Zergan.
Even in death, you cannot defeat me.
I'm worming, I'm working, let's hurt him. Undead Zergan.
Essence of death, you are life-loving.
And if you think you're scaring skeletons, you got another thing coming.